What's up, everyone? This is Dale from Upstate Bets and DFS. I'm here with my partner Reoz, bringing you guys Super Wildcard Weekend here in the NFL. So we're doing the Sunday games. We just put out our Saturday video. If you want to go check that out, if the Saturday games are still going on, you can definitely take a look at that. That's between the Raiders, Bengals, and the Patriots and the Bills. So yeah, go check that one out. It was a really good video. Here we got a nice slate of games here. We got 3 games, and then we're gonna be covering the Monday night game over on our Patreon. So yeah, I like the games we got here, so we're going to be talking about a couple different props here. We're going to run through all the props across the screen, and then PrizePicks, man. They're the sponsor of this video. You can sign up for PrizePicks using promo code Upstate. That'll give you a 100% deposit match on your first deposit up to $100. Very easy way to play, very simple. Tom Brady here at 270.5 passing yards. You can look at his last 5 here, and you can pair him up with someone like Jalen Hurts over in passing yards, maybe Dak Prescott, and you could take the over-under on there. You can string together multiple different players in multiple different categories. You can 10x your money. Yeah, fun way to play. I mean, the channel's been growing like crazy since we've been doing Prize Picks. Love Prize Picks. Awesome way to play. And they also do multiple different sports, esports, college sports, tennis, MMA. It's awesome. So yeah, we're gonna dive into this, Reoz. Tell them about the Patreon, the premium content we also do offer on Patreon first.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of stuff going on in the Patreon. We're recording this. You could tell we're in the same clothes. We're just grinding out videos, locking into these slates, and we just crushed NBA for Friday, and it looks really promising that we're just going to continue this streak and crush Saturday NBA and NFL on Saturday. So I highly recommend getting in there if you don't have time to do your research. We do all the research for you. We give you our plays that we're plugging in. You can find it at patreon.com/upstate, and it will also be in the description below.
Yeah, as we're speaking, Reoz is 4-0 in the NBA on the night. Absolutely smashed NBA. So, yeah, crazy stuff we're doing over there. We got write-ups for multiple different things, hit rates, top players, everything. So, yeah, really good time. Thank you to everyone who signed up over there. We're trying to improve every day over there. So let's dive into the slate, man. Weather plays a pretty big factor. We talked about the weather in New York right now for that Buffalo New England game. Looks like we got some rain coming in for this Tampa Bay Philly game. High winds, some rain. Definitely could affect these passing yards props, as well as like 25-degree weather and some snow going into Kansas City for the Steelers and the Chiefs. So they're playing in a dome, San Francisco and Dallas, so we don't have to worry about anything there. But between these 6 guys, man, who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, the weather just in this whole entire slate in general is just crazy. So, really, for me, I'm really leaning towards Dak Prescott here at 272.5. I mean, between CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, just everyone on this team, he just seems to get the job done. I mean, 295 against Philly in a game where he really didn't even have to play. So the fact that Dallas is keeping him out there and he's just doing amazing, throwing for 5 touchdowns. I mean, he's just gonna keep it going against this San Fran team. And at 270, it seems like a lot, but just the way he's been playing and everyone around him. I mean, Amari Cooper coming back, being healthy, just improves this. Just this team in general, and just having the option in the backfield between dumping it off to Zeke, dumping it off to Pollard, it's just a lot of options for him. And we know the 49ers give up a ton of points, so definitely in this game, I have no problem with just everything in general going on in this. Just weather-wise, that kind of feels like the safest.
Yeah, I mean, the 49ers definitely have given up some points so far this season. They've kept up with some good teams, especially within their division. But yeah, they've given up some points, especially to some, bad teams. I mean, so far this season as well. So, yeah, I definitely think that Dak's a guy that can go out there, especially with all his weapons. I do believe, Shanahan's going to have a pretty good scheme. But regardless, it's tough to compete with what Dak and Dallas Cowboys have going on in offense. So I know a lot of people are going to be looking at Patrick Mahomes at 270. The hit rate isn't perfect over these last 5 games. He had that one amazing game against the Chargers. 258 against Pitt before. They're huge favorites in this game. I believe it's at 13.5 as we speak right now. Not really interest there. I mean, I'm a Pittsburgh fan. I know Pittsburgh, their defense has been suspect at times, and it's looked great at times as well. It just, I don't know what to think about this game. I mean, I would like to think we have a chance, but there's like a really good possibility that Kansas City just comes out and they just cover the spread with ease. handle this game early. I don't think Mahomes I don't think it gets to a point where Mahomes sits a quarter or anything like that. But then again, it might just get to a point, where they're really just kind of trying to control some clock. So other than that, I'm gonna fade that Tampa Bay and Philly game in terms of the passing yards. So in rushing yards, Riaz, we talked about before the video, tons of guys we like here. Like we said, weather plays a big factor. Let's get after these rushing yards, man. Who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, we could just start it right off with Miles Sanders here at 38 and a half. Obviously, we saw what he was doing before he broke his arm, and I don't know if that's going to play a factor in this game. It's been 3 weeks since he's been out. It seems like 100% if they're going to roll him out in this game. And the big thing for me here is we know Tampa Bay's front four, front seven is just unbelievable, but at 38 and a half, just his upside, and hopefully he gets the carries here. And even if he doesn't, I feel like in maybe 10, a little 8 to 10 carries, I feel like he gets the job done here. I mean, definitely gets the rest coming off that broken arm. Obviously going to have a monster cast on it, and it's not his legs or anything like we talked about. So Miles Sanders here at 38 and a half, a huge discount from where he has been. And even in that Giants game, he was running the ball so well before he ended up breaking his arm. He had 45 yards rushing. I mean, just awesome performances out of him as of late.
Yeah, was that an arm? Was that an arm injury or a hand injury?
I believe it was a hand. He broke his hand.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think even the hand makes it even feel safer to me. I don't know which hand it was particularly. If I believe he's capable of controlling the ball with either hand. Depends on what side he's running to. But I think realistically, it's not going to affect things. It's not like a knee injury, a foot injury, hamstring, something like that. I think he's going to be fine here. I think he's going to see pretty good volume, 15, 18 touches here. They're going to need his production. I think Hurts looks fine, but I like Miles Sanders a little bit more, and the hit rate looks amazing for him too. Obviously, the hit rate goes all the way back to November these last 5 games, so I haven't seen much of him, over the past 2 months. 2 months realistically, but I think he looks good. So in that same game, we talked about a lot of rain, high winds. Leonard Fournette, 56.5 yards. I think he looks good. Remember that stretch of games where Leonard Fournette was just absolutely torching in fantasy score? I think he still looks great in fantasy score too. So the big thing here is no Ronald Jones. And I think that helps the chains, helps Leonard Fournette a little bit more because even if Fournette is still a little banged up, they won't be able to bring in Fournette to eat up carries from him. I think regardless, Fournette is just going to get pounded. And we saw playoff Lenny last year just go absolutely ballistic and help them lead that run to the Super Bowl and ended up ultimately winning the Super Bowl there. So I think Fournette's going to play another big role in these playoffs. It's unfortunate that he's not at full strength, but realistically, I think he's just a solid option here.
Yeah, without a doubt. With nobody else really coming in and splitting carries with him, he's just going to get majority of the workload. It's just been an animal all year, and even coming off injury, I have no problem going back to him. To jump into this 8:15 game here, Najee Harris played Kansas City already. December 26th, day after Christmas. He had 93 yards rushing. Really one of his better performances this year. He's been very hit or miss. I mean, we saw that monster game the day or the week after against Cleveland where he had 188 and just a really bad performance against Baltimore. But Baltimore also has a really tough run defense. But against Kansas City, their defense has been so shaky this year. I feel like for them for the Steelers to kind of have a chance here, they need to work the ball to Najee Harris to kind of open up a little bit for Big Ben here. We know they're probably going to play from behind. We know Kansas City loves to pour on points early, and even if that doesn't happen, they got to get Najee Harris the ball. And coming off a game already against them with 93 yards at 60 and a half, it just seems like a really good line for him here tonight.
Yeah, Kansas City touched the ball 19 times, 93 yards, looked really good. Only 11 attempts against Baltimore, but division game, tough defense. Low scoring game. We know what that Baltimore and Pittsburgh defense. The rivalry. We know how it is. It's always low scoring. It's always gritty. So I understand why Najee Harris struggled in that one. And then he also hurt his arm. I mean, realistically, that's pretty much or his elbow, realistically. So that's pretty much why too. Like he was limited on production. But I guess the arm injury, I don't know if it's going to really affect him here much. It says he's a full participant in practice. I think that he's going to be good to go. I realistically think he's going to be good to go. I think they're going to need him, and this is what I'm thinking. If they want to have a chance to win this game, they're going to need Najee Harris to really, control the clock. I mean, that's pretty much their only shot to keep Mahomes off the field, stop the Kansas City Chiefs from pouring on points. So they're going to try to, push Najee Harris here, especially if he's healthy. I mean, Benny Snell, too, if Najee Harris isn't 100%, can definitely get some touches, too. But I think 60 for Najee is just a really good value here. And then the next guy I wanted to get to is Deebo Samuel. I was looking at Elijah Mitchell, too. 74, I really like it, but it does seem high. But just a Swiss Army knife Deebo Samuel is at 26.5. He's getting like jet sweeps, outside runs. They're even just running him just on halfback guts. Just I don't know. He just looks so good lately, and I think that they're really not going to have much of an answer here for Deebo. They're playing him all over the field, and I think he just looks amazing. One of the locks I think on this slate realistically. Dallas has been pretty decent against the rush all season. That's why I'm kind of fading Mitchell here, and I like the discount with Deebo.
He just continues to hit almost every single week here. Just like you said, using him in all different spots around the field. So at 26.5, it is a little bit higher than it's usually been, but it's only right because he continues to rack up 30, even 40 at some games. So I have no problem going to Samuel to jump over to receiving yards. A lot of people here on the board for sure with this 3 game slate, and really I'm leaning towards Mike Evans here. It's really hard to think with no Godwin, no AB. He's gonna just get a million targets, and coming off a great game against Carolina, having 89 yards receiving, it's kind of where I think going to be here tonight. At 51.5, it's just a phenomenal line for him. And we know Gronk is going to eat up a couple of the targets, but primarily it's going to be a Mike Evans show, especially against this Philly defense.
Yeah, Mike Evans looks fantastic. He's going to eat up majority of the targets. I think Mike Evans looks awesome in this game as well. I like Gronk too, right next to him. I think even with the conditions, I don't think Brady's not going to throw the ball. I think he's going to throw the ball like 20, 25 times. I know the conditions are going to be sloppy, but in terms of Gronk and just some short yardage situations, just for him to get some extra yards, some yards after the catch, and maybe break a couple tackles here. Really good spot to get 55.5 receiving yards here. Let's see the last 2 games against the Jets and Carolina. I know the Carolina game he was playing for an incentive, and there was some things that you can talk about there, but this is kind of why they brought Gronk in. I mean, the fact that he's just plays so well in the playoffs, and him and Brady with that connection, I can go talk about it for days about their history, but realistically, I think both these guys look amazing.
Yeah, without a doubt. And to even talk about another elite tight end, George Kittle here, getting a really good discount at 47.5. 3 just awful games. I mean, 10, 29, 21 after just having monster games before, almost racking up 200 yards receiving in like back-to-back games. And here against Dallas, Dallas has a real tough time guarding tight ends, and especially a guy like George Kittle who always seems to be in a mismatch. He's gonna have an. I just feel like he's gonna have an awesome game. They're gonna be really locking in on Deebo because they don't want to get beat by any big plays, especially IU. Just 2 big play guys, and George Kittle is just like I say with Mark Andrews. He's a safety blanket. If both those 2 guys are covered, Jimmy G is gonna be looking for George Kittle majority of the time here. I mean, double-digit targets almost every single game, and he's definitely very viable in this offense to really just eat up yards in this game for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Kittle is also like a deep threat too. I mean, realistically, he's all over the field. He really is the elite of the elite tight ends in this league. Not really much to say about that. 47.5 I think looks great. We're kind of waiting for him to have a monster game, and I think the 49ers really need to control the clock here. Like I said, I think they're underrated in this game. I really do think they have a good shot to go out and beat the Cowboys here. And I know they want to limit that Cowboys offense. They want to keep them off the field. No better way to hand Deebo the ball, hand Mitchell the ball, get Kittle in some short yard situations. Hopefully he can get like around 12 to 15 targets. I mean, that would be amazing. But realistically, it's not out of the question either. So scrolling down a little bit, these Chiefs guys, it's hard for me to get to any of them. I mean, the conditions, they don't really scare me. I know Hill has had a really bad stretch of games. And Travis Kelce, I think he's probably one of the most consistent guys, but even his last 5 just look horrible. And it's just tough for me to get to any of these guys. Really, I think Fryermuth is probably one of the only ones that I like here in this game. And I think just realistically, Big Ben's going to throw the ball quite a bit here, and I think that. I mean, even if Fryermuth sees 6 to 7 targets, catches 5 of them, he still has a really good shot to get there.
Yeah, I even like the guy above him in Chase Claypool. I mean, a lot of talk about this guy. I mean, just barely not getting over against Baltimore, and just a real stretch of just tough games, really for everybody in this game. But at 38 and a half, he just has that big play upside. Him with Johnson, but I feel like they're going to really lock in on Johnson in this game. They know that's the guy that's going to beat him. Claypool's going to go very underrated. No one's really going to pay too much mind to him, and I could see him just racking up 5, 6 catches for 50, 60 yards in this game, just kind of under the radar.
Yeah, 100% the big play guy within the offense. I mean, I know James Washington presents that type of that presence too, as well as they're getting Ray McLeod involved too, which is nice. But Chase Claypool, no doubt, can catch one deep ball and get us there. I think other than that, I mean, Dalton Schultz, we're kind of waiting for him to have another big one. 82 against Washington, 67 against the Giants. Reoz loves Dak Prescott yards in this one, so if you want to do a little bit of a correlation, with someone like Mari Cooper too, has had a nice couple games in the month of January. So yeah, I mean, some really good plays here in the receiving yards. If you want to hop over to receptions with me, I think we got some guys here that look pretty good. I know I've been talking about Kittle. I think Kittle's due for a big one. I like Kittle here in the playoffs. He's probably going to be one of my guys that I'm looking at, and as well as Deontay Johnson, eats up a lot of targets. 15 targets upwards in some of these games, and even in a game against Baltimore, super low scoring, still saw 7 receptions, and like dropped 2 of them. So could have got there with ease, but 6.5. I really like this line for him.
Yeah, I mean those are two really great lines, and the one that I'm really eyeing is CeeDee Lamb. He really does a lot for this team as of late. It hasn't looked that great, but I mean against Philly 2, Arizona 3, Washington 4. I mean just tough games, but they they've already matched up a couple times this year, so you kind of know what you're going to get. But against this 49ers team, CeeDee Lamb's going to find a lot of holes here. One of Dak's just favorite targets. It's just been all year, and at 5, they're going to need a lot of points scored in this game, just considering how fast paced and just how quick the 49ers can put up points. So even Amari Cooper at the same line, I have no problem going to either one of them.
Yeah, no, I think they look awesome. For sure. CeeDee Lamb, we've seen him early on in the season just go ballistic, and I think he's also due for a big game here in the playoffs. So, anyone else here in receptions, or do you want to hop to the touchdown categories?
No, we can hop to the touchdowns.
So touchdowns, I mean, Debo, Elijah Mitchell, Sony Michelle, he's in the Monday game, but Darrell Williams, I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we got some news on him. I think he's going to be limited. I'm not sure if he's officially listed as out yet. But I mean, none of these guys are really showing interest. I know Debo definitely gets a lot of red zone work, and his last 5 look awesome. But I know Dallas knows that the ball is probably looking Debo's way in the red zone. They could have some sort of scheme set up for him not to get there. It could be a line I know a lot of people are looking at. But for me, these touchdown props, I just don't really like much of them here.
No, I'm kind of right there with you. I wish they would have had like a Kittle or uh, a Gronk touchdown, but it is what it is. We'll probably see more when it comes out towards Sunday. So definitely drop a comment down if a lot of these lines come out. But to go over to passing touchdowns, uh, Jimmy Garoppolo, I can definitely see him getting over 2. I mean, he had a great stretch of games where he was getting over 2. Last 3 games haven't looked that great. Rams, Tennessee, and Atlanta. I mean, the Rams are always a tough matchup. Tennessee plays phenomenal defense, and against this Dallas team, it's just going to be whoever scores the most points, obviously, but there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game, and Dak coming off 5 touchdowns in the last game against the Eagles. This is going to be probably one of the higher game totals in just this slate. They don't have to deal with any weather, so I have no problem going to Jimmy Garoppolo over 2 touchdowns here.
Yeah, I don't like his passing yards at all, but definitely passing touchdowns. I really think, especially, if Debo is going to be limited in the running game in the red zone, they could be looking, Kittle's ways. I mean, I don't know. Ayuk is definitely could catch a touchdown too, and they got some sleeper guys as well in that offense. And then reception touchdowns, Gronk. I mean, he's at here at one reception touchdowns. I don't know if you have him on your screen there,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think Gronk doesn't look that bad either. I mean, we haven't seen nothing in the past 5 games. There's probably a lot of people who look at this line and have zero interest in it. But I think playoffs, Brady, Gronk, it's a different breed. So I wouldn't mind going to Gronk here.
No, not at all. I feel like Gronk scores a touchdown in almost every single playoff game, and now with them just being so short-handed, Mike Evans isn't going to be able to do everything, and especially in the red zone. We know Brady's going to be looking for Gronk. Uh, Even in these other props, I have no problem going to Travis Kelsey either. I mean, he's just been a touchdown machine so far this year. He's hit three straight so far. One against Denver, once against the Bengals, and two against the Chargers. So with Tyreek just really being hit or miss these past couple of games, I'm not sure if he's dealing with any injuries or. I don't really know what's going on. I feel a lot more comfortable going with these tight ends here in this receiving touchdowns.
I totally agree, man. And a pick that I never really go to, pass completions, man. I never a prop I'm really looking at, but I like Big Ben. Big Ben could be his final game. The hit rate doesn't look too bad here. And, he's the type of guy that won't throw for a ton of yards, but he definitely, especially in that Cleveland game, threw for less than 200 yards on 24 completions. Like I said, the conditions might not be perfect, but he throws a lot of dump down balls. And if Najee Harris is getting stuffed, they're going to need Big Ben to throw. I like the attitude they're coming in with this game. I mean, Pittsburgh they know they're underdogs. They want to go have fun. They could let Big Ben in this situation just cook. And pass completions for here, it's just fitting, man. I like Big Ben pass completions here. I like the over on that, and that'll be it for me, man. I don't know if you want to jump to someone in fantasy score, but nothing really over there is catching my eye.
Yeah, we could drop the fantasy score, but you definitely touched on that Big Ben prop perfectly. He might not throw for a lot of yards, but he has a ton of completions, and I can definitely see him throwing the ball 40, 45 times in this game if they start to really get down. But in fantasy score, there's definitely a bunch of guys here that are really catching my eye. I mean, Ayuk for sure at 10.5. I mean, he's been doing some special stuff as of late. I mean, 4 out of the last 5 hit, even against these tough matchups where everyone else really wasn't doing much. He had 14 against uh, Tennessee, 16.5 against the Rams. I mean, he seems like a matchup problem. We really didn't see him much early on in the year, but as of late, he's just been unbelievable. And uh, I have no problem taking this discount at 10.5 here for Ayuk.
Yeah, absolutely crazy the turnaround we've seen. I mean, it was like week 4 or 5 when we're just like hammer the under on Brandon Ayuk. He's not even seeing the field, and then now we're at 10.5 in the playoffs here, and now he's like having really great games, and we're like taking the over on him. So, but like I said, no one really outs for me. I know there's some big play guys, but if you're ready to wrap it up, I'm good.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, so enjoy these playoffs, man. It's the best time of the year, realistically. Like I said, weather plays a factor. We hope you guys have a really good Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Enjoy these games, and we'll catch you on the next video, guys. Peace.